All right, today we're going to be talking about a mindset shift. So, I think a lot of guys and potentially a lot of girls have this mindset where, whether it's when they're going on the first date or when they are initially in contact with a person, they're coming from this whole thing of, oh my goodness, what can I do to impress this girl? Or what can I do to keep her interested? And oh my goodness, I gotta do all this stuff, right? Da 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 da. And it's almost like a thing where you're just like constantly trying to like keep this person, and you're almost chasing her constantly. Rather, if you shift your mindset and think of it like, this is a win-win situation. This potentially is a win-win situation. And think about it like this. I'm here to have fun, and perhaps I can have fun with this other person. So what can I do to have the most fun with this other person? And another mindset shift is, hey, a lot of people are interesting. I just need to go in and find out what's interesting about this person. And again, there's this great book. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. I have it right here. And there's a chapter on it on how you can keep people interested and keep people liking you. And so the chapter is called How to Interest People. And basically what they say in one sentence, to summarize the whole chapter, is be interested about their interests. So I think it's very, it's a very interesting thing. That doesn't mean, you have to talk a lot. If you can just be interested in what they are really passionate about, you can do wonders. They can think like this conversation is amazing when they're doing 80 to 90% of the talking. And some of the best interviewers talk very little. Some of the best conversationalists, they talk about 20% of the time. And that's a very fascinating thing. It's something I picked up a while ago. And I think it's something you should incorporate into your conversation skills and so forth. So, it's very interesting. And if you come from that perspective, you can also realize that, hey, I can be the selector a bit. And sometimes, some people are just not interesting to me, or they're not the type of person I'm interested in. And it could take a lot of the pressure off. So for me, I'm not a master at this. In fact, I suck still, but I do think that, I used to come from a very serious mindset, and I was almost like, oh my goodness, this person is very boring. And it's like, looking back, it's like, well, I was kind of boring. And I didn't really do much other than ask a lot of questions about this person, just prodding. And then, like, not being really interested because their interest didn't align with my interests, or, they weren't like super goal driven or value driven or whatever it was. And, it can really just be too much sometimes. Sometimes, if you just come in with this whole, I'm here to have fun, they're there to have fun, and you just start talking like that, you can start looking for ways to have the most fun. And if that's your goal, you can have a lot of amazing interactions with this person. And so instead of this whole like charade of like, oh my goodness, all this pressure, and then like, oh my goodness, I don't like this person, or this person's boring. Changing that all up, you could have a lot of fun with a lot of people that you thought there's no way you could connect with. And that could be another thing. If you're looking for a wife, or, someone you want to marry for the next 40 years, and you've really set that down, and that's your goal, that may be a different thing. And again, perhaps your checklist is still too long, maybe not. But that sort of thing, arguably, it can make some sense if you come in with this whole thing of like, okay, you need to be goal driven, you need to have achievements in your life, you have to have these interests in common with me, and so forth. And I did a whole video on interests. Like, technically, you don't really even have to have all the same interests in common. In fact, I've heard stories about women who have not liked the guy because they had too many interests in common. So think about it like that. It's not really even a huge issue, really. And so, um, just think it through. And I guess one of the things I sort of picked up is that what you think you want or what you think is necessary isn't truly there. And uh, I've kind of realized that you can have a lot of fun, interesting interactions and connections and experiences with people when you have nothing in common, or you don't even bring up your interests or their interests. Now again, would it be awesome to have a lot of things in common? Perhaps, to a certain extent. Would it be awesome if they had a lot of your same values, your same goals, a bunch of other stuff? Perhaps. But just think it through. Thanks for watching.